Welcome back to Mornings on 2 to 9. The kids are back in school and winter is right around the corner. With that comes cold and flu season.
According to the Centers for Disease Control, flu activity generally begins to increase in the month of October.
So how can you tell between the cold and a flu? And should you vaccinate, get that shot or not? For help with some of these questions and more, we're joined live by KTVU's medical expert, Dr. Larry Burchett. Thanks for joining us this morning.
That's a great intro. Good to be here.
It's good to have you. I'm going to ask you first about a story that was in the news not too long ago. They're now saying that the nasal flu mist is not as effective as the shot. Which do you advise parents to get for their children?
You know, when they looked at the numbers in the past, that nasal, the old flu shot was 20 times more effective. And the nasal one, I think it was like 3 or 5%. It really didn't do much.
Right.
And so American Board of Pediatricians, all these boards came out and said, we don't even recommend that anymore. It doesn't work.
And a lot of people don't want to get a flu shot, though. The kids get it, but not all parents do. And I've talked to various people, and for whatever reason, they don't want to get it. What are the fears? Why do people not get the shot? Even when it's readily available to them, there are a lot of people who don't get it.
So one of the common misconceptions is that the flu shot will give you the flu. That's not true. There are some side effects. It hurts. I got mine yesterday, and my shoulder hurts a little bit. Some people can get a little bit of a fever, but it's not going to give you influenza. You know, where you have body aches, you feel terrible, cough, headache, you know, sick from the flu. So that's one main reason, I think, kind of a misconception, people that might hold them back from getting
I don't get it. I mean, off of that cell, I don't get it. I'm a father. I have 2 children. They get the flu shot. I don't get it primarily because I don't really get the flu. It's sick. So I'm like, why am I? And I've never had the flu shot.
I'm going to knock on wood for you right now, Mike Meback.
So I need to change that mentality.
Well, so this is what I would say to you is getting the flu shot, not only is there a benefit to you, potentially you wouldn't get it, but you can help save lives. So the people who die from influenza are the weakest among us. Those who are older, have lung disease, kind of weaker, marginal. If we all, you know, if the whole herd gets vaccinated, then it's less likely that the weakest among us are going to get it and die. And so maybe it's not a benefit for you, but think about doing it for the rest of society.
Good point. Let me ask you this. As I said, I'm a father. I have this debate with my wife all the time about sending our children to school, not just flu, but with a cold, whether or not. So, he's fine, he's got a cold, send him off, he's fine. What is the line in the sand, if you will, in regards to sending children to school and the symptoms of a cold, as well as flu? I'll bring that in as well.
Okay. So I'd say 3 things in general. One, if they have a fever, keep them home. I mean, what we're thinking about, there's a couple things, but one is it contagious? Is your kid going to give it to other kids there? Do they have a fever? Do they have vomiting or diarrhea? Because those can spread pretty quick. And then, do they have a bad cough? A little bit of a runny nose and a cough, probably not a big deal. Tell them to wash their hands. But like, if it's severe, and then the other thing is, can your kid participate in school? Are they so sick? Are they coughing so much?
Just lethargic, you see it at them.
Yeah, that they're just, you know, they're not going to get anything out of it. Keep them home.
So why is it that when we give kids, when my kid has a fever, we give her something immediately to bring it down? But isn't the fever what helps fight whatever she has?
That's a good question. So a fever is a sign that your immune system is identifying virus, bacteria, whatever, and mounting an immune response. Simply lowering it with Tylenol or ibuprofen doesn't negate that immune response. It's kind of a sign that things are doing what they should.
We're all parents of young children, and we joke every time they get sick, oh, the immune system will be really strong when my kid's a teenager. Is that true? Do a lot of these little, schoolyard illnesses early on build up to a stronger body when they're older?
Absolutely. So it's interesting because there's meaning to them being sick. Yeah, it actually puts them in a better position later. It's interesting how we see in the ER certain diseases primarily affect younger kids, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then when you get older, teenage, even into adult, we don't see them getting that much. I think that's because you've developed the immunity. Your antibodies respond when you get, maybe you run into that cold again, and you fight it off. So I think there is, good things we get out of being sick, as miserable as it might be.
All right, great tips. KTVU medical expert Dr. Larry Burchett. Great.